Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Julian Edelman is a very interesting name, as Wes Welker, when he went down week 17, in that very game, Julian Edelman posted 10 receptions and had over 100 yards receiving. His makeup, his style of play is much like that of Wes Welker, and we even saw him in the playoffs when the Patriots really didn't have that great of a game against the Ravens. He did have 2 touchdowns in that game as well. So with Edelman, it's not really a question of do I think he can be productive if he's given the opportunity to, if Wes Welker's not on the field. It's really now, is Wes Welker going to be on the field or not? For a lot of this offseason, it was projected that Julian was going to be a high sleeper name, a guy that you need to pay a lot of attention to, probably a top 30, 35 receiver even, because it just looked like Wes Welker wasn't going to be able to play. Obviously, that week 17 torn ACL, had surgery in February. It just didn't look like this was a guy that was going to be relevant. We figured he probably wouldn't even be on the field until maybe the last 6 games of the year because of this injury. And since he's a guy that does so much cutting and moving, it takes a lot of stress on the knee. But all of a sudden, Wes Welker is back. He's practicing. I mean, at least he's doing a lot of drills and things like that. You can just watch him on video. Go to NFL.com. You can see on his player page over there that he is doing a lot of the team drills, cutting and moving. He looks pretty good to me. I know he's still getting treatment. We'll have to see if he actually gets into camp and starts practicing by training camp, but it looks like he's progressing pretty well. I think the big thing that you worry about here is a setback for him. As good as we can, is this to be true, or is this just maybe too early, too fast? We're going to have to find that out over the summer, but it's going to be a big thing and a big key to Julian Edelman's fantasy value, because if Welker wasn't on this team, then this was a guy that should have gotten a lot of receptions, some touchdowns, and been a very fantasy relevant name filling in for Wes Welker. But if Wes Welker does play, and we're going to have to find out when he will truly be able to play, but at this time, it looks like Welker should be back. It seems like at least by the end of the first month of the season, maybe even earlier than that. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. But with Edelman, as long as Welker is not playing, he's a guy that is worth actually probably putting in your fantasy starting lineup if you want, as a flex play option, because he's going to get a lot of catches. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. We've seen this in the 2 games that he had a chance. 10 receptions over 100 yards, comes back against the Ravens, 2 touchdowns in that game. So this is very good production.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy